Hi, my name is Veneka. I'm a photographer. I'm an ambitious person, meaning anything that I do, anything I participate in, I'm actually trying to become not the greatest in the continent, not the greatest in my country, not the greatest in the world, but the greatest of all time, and as a sincere effort. So you will notice standards arising in said activity, no matter what. I am who I am. I'm a serious person, so you'll find that my dressing style is actually more suits than it is shorts and shirts. I do make jokes and I'm rather silly, but if you look at intent, you will find that I am one of two locations, at home or at work. And everyone who knows me will be able to tell you exactly where I am. I don't have a discipline problem. Secondly, you will find I do not have a wisdom problem. In very short periods of time, you will find that I have established, quite objectively, good and objective metrics of progress. At present, I'm going on 20 awards. I stop at 14 when I tell people, just because it starts to feel nuts to say. You know what I mean? I might just say award winning and make it sound like I've won 1 or 2 awards just because it sounds nuts. But there is a certain standard to anything that I do. When it comes to getting to know me, I would highlight the main points of my story that got me to where I am today. And these points are the very beginning, which is my start in charity work. After high school, instead of doing university, I did 4 years of full-time charity work. This was 3 things. It was disaster response. So during Cyclone Idai, we would go to villages that had their crops destroyed and their homes destroyed, and at least supply blankets, food, and water, about 2 tons total, with everything included, and just help them hold out until the UN arrived. The main one was a village called Gruja down in Mozambique, and very often you would find that I wouldn't eat for some time because I'm giving children my food. You cannot eat and there's a little child who didn't eat. This is the beginning of the main character forming of myself as an adult. I'm a spiritually fed human being, meaning I'm not super materially obsessed or obsessed in any particular direction. You might not immediately be able to tell, but I love people. I might not like you, but I definitely love you and wish the best for you, which is an important understanding to have, particularly because I'm also very big on authenticity, meaning I'll say exactly what I mean to you and nothing else. This may or may not be a good thing, but that's me. My photography career started within that charity work because I've always been able to see magic. I only noticed that I can share what I'm seeing when I take a picture. On our trip to Gruja, we took a giant truck full of food, water, blankets, just the resources you'd need to hold out until the UN can arrive with Mili Meal. And there was a moment in which, from the back of one of our trucks, we were handing down soap to the villagers. And our person was handing down the soap and the villagers were reaching up. And I believe there was the sun setting in the background and everything was silhouetted, but with the little camera we took for documentation, I took a photo of that moment. And that was my very first internationally published photo. I'm now 8 times internationally published, but I don't even mention that anymore because, as much as positive things that you achieve in life have an effect, if you're in a conservative environment, It's very easy to drown out another person and not grant them importance. And the essence of manners is to grant another person importance. So like I won't even mention that really. I don't mention a lot of stuff. But just so that you feel like you can talk to me as well, because I'm not trying to just be a blanket where, where you talking about what you've done doesn't seem significant enough to add to the conversation. So then I'll understate it. I'll understate it as a point of manners. So over 4 years, I did full-time charity work. I got 8 times internationally published in that time. I caught on to my ability to share what I'm seeing. And I started to study on my own for photography. Other people within the company who were photographers were fully trained at a place called the New York Institute of Photography. So then they were heavily well-read. In order to be able to catch up and to compete in earnest with such a person, I needed to also become well-read. So what I did was I very brute force just read every meaningful photography book that I could. I've read 64 in total over the years. It's probably more, but there's a point where I stopped counting. 2 of them are dictionaries. The importance of a dictionary is making it so that words don't slow you down when you're learning the realm or when you're in the realm. You do not get stumped by a big word such that it stops your ability to carry momentum, carry progress forward. Some of the books are more complex, particularly maybe if you're talking about optics, talking about lighting, talking about, you know what I mean? Books are different. You need to know the words. So and this is why I read 2 dictionaries, and it made it so much smoother to go through the rest of the books. And now I will skill for skill more than likely beat you, but at the very worst you'll match me. I'm not expecting you to beat me, whoever you are on earth. Which is an interesting statement for a person coming from a third world country and not even the biggest city of the third world country. But at the same time, I am who I am. And I'm talking about as a person, not achievements. After doing charity work, I decided to take up professional photography as a career. This is a bit of a nuts thing to do, being a private school student, because I even got this as a statement exactly. My uncle, who is essentially my dad in life, said, "We didn't send you to school so that you could take photos." Which is true, but you also did, goddammit, because it's what I want to do. Do you see? And only now is it getting across that no, somehow this is the true career. It's just been weird until then. So the reason why I'll mention that is that part of a person's nature or part of the character forming is their ability to resist the environment. You'll find that I'm doing it right now. A lot of people will start conversations around me. A lot of people do whatever it is. You might disturb my video. I'm not stopping my video because I am who I am. And you will find that this is always the case. It makes me likable to people who like me and dislikable to people who don't like me. And this is perfect because you want to be authentic in life. The filtering process is only done by you being yourself at any moment, despite the increasing volume of the environment. Final point, which is maybe a reiteration, but also a necessary reiteration. I want to exceed the boundaries. I consider myself the game-breaking entity. By the end of my life, I don't know how many awards, how many wins, how many whatever there is to have out there that I'm going to attain. But I'll tell you what, it'll be very significant, or you will find that I actually have become at the very least, statistically, the greatest of all time of my realm. It is difficult to put me there because of my trademark, aggression. Aggression is different from violence in that violence is a destructive compulsion. Aggression is a will or a willingness to reach for something. It is the degree of will, degree of willingness to reach towards something. So if you aggressively go for your dream, you are going without any restraint. You are reaching and reaching and reaching and reaching without another thought, without another consideration, without another feeling, somewhat unstoppably. I get mistaken very often for a violent person because I am an aggressive person. People will come around when they come around. It makes me difficult to maybe support because you would think that because I'm aggressive and because I'll just sort of walk right past you and go into my objective, because I'm just very clearly going exactly there, or because I'll say something which seems inconsiderate towards attaining an objective. I'm actually considerate. It's just I understand that hurting you with the truth is actually where we need to go, because it will make you fully able to process whatever the thing is. If you're not very confident and need to practice being confident in uncomfortable situations, I'll tell you exactly and precisely this, only this, with nothing else around it. But it's because I'm trying to get the point to you with precision. And these are the elements of the nature of me. This is my get to know me video for the Misters of Zimbabwe pageant. And now you know me. God damn it.